Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. We don't know what time of day you're listening in, but this is BE Bonafide.
With your girls, Brittany and Erica. We're tuning in with us a few minutes out of your day may give you the tools for a bona fide lifestyle.
Yes.
We're back.
We're back, finally.
Yes. How are you doing, Erica?
Oh, you know, life is life, but
Life is life, yeah.
we keep pushing forward.
We do. We've said that a lot. Well, more this season. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just kind of, it is what it is thing, I guess.
Well, for those of you that are new to our channel, this is BE Bonafide, and our podcast is about authenticity and challenging your own perspective, whether you're living this one life true to yourself. So, welcome in and join us on this journey of self-discovery.
Yes, it is a journey, as I continue to say, and as we will talk about even more with this episode on what kind of journey it is, has been, and all included with that. It's about time we talk about that.
It is. It is.
Yes. It is. But today I have our Say What?
Say what?
And this one, I took it from a different site than we've used before. The title of it is My Parents' Teaching Story About Authenticity. And where this came from was the AliceWalkerGarden.com website. And for you guys who don't know, Alice Walker is a well-known writer, poet, activist, and she really focuses on African American culture and civil rights and feminism and things of that nature. But this is her website, and it has a lot of different posts related to several of those things. And this one was about authenticity, which is why I brought it up. It's very interesting. I'll sum up a lot of it, but then there are certain parts that I do want to read because it's very specific, and I feel like it gets the point across. But the post is from, it seems like it's from a woman. They don't have names of who wrote it, but what it says is, when I was a child, it was understood that the worst thing that could possibly happen is that if you were considered to be fake, and that even if you were lying, it wasn't as bad as if you were fake. Like you actually, like, fake came off as fake. You presented yourself in a way that wasn't who you were. And so she mentioned, because she has a story related to what her parents taught her that made her realize that she just needed to be herself. And so how it started, what her parents' teaching was, it was folklore, or it was a folk tale, or like a story that was passed on, down the generations. And what the story was, she said her dad used to tell it because he was all about naturalness and like natural beauty. And so he was the one that would always tell it. And what the story is, it was about a man who married the most beautiful woman in the world. And so he was really happy. He couldn't wait to get his woman home to consummate the marriage, as you would expect. And so this is the funny part. And so the story continues that as they were preparing for bed, she began removing things, as you would expect. First, of course, was her dress. Yes. And he's like, oh, yes. But then her eyelashes were also coming off and laid on the shelf. Then her eyebrows, then her fingernails, then her hair, her long and glossy hair, which he really liked, was also laid on the shelf. And then next, it continues on. Next, the bride took off a foot and laid it on the shelf.
Foot.
The arm, again, this is folklore. Her arm, her buttocks was laid on the shelf. She removed that as well. And there was everything sexy about her, that came off as charming to the man, that he was excited about her being the most beautiful woman in the world. All these things she took off, including her teeth, and laid them on the shelf as well.
Well, I mean, some people might like that, actually.
Oh my goodness. So at the end, what was left of her, she then turned to him and is, ready to consummate the marriage. But he said, "Oh, I think I'll just sleep on the shelf," with all the stuff that she had taken off. That was so funny. But she said, so it continues on the post. It talks about, with hearing this growing up from her dad and from her parents. She said when she was a teenager, she wore like a fake ponytail for a few days because she thought somebody she was talking to would really like be impressed by her long, very straight hair. And so she said what happened was when he actually did compliment her on the hair, she said, learning from that story and from what her parents were telling her, the moment that he praised it, knowing and not knowing the fact that he didn't know that wasn't a natural part of her, she was like instantly like, no, I'm about to go home, take this off. She went home and she threw it in the trash because she was like, no, this doesn't represent me. He likes something that is not actually a part of me, and I don't like that. I know better. I grew up knowing the difference, about being authentic. And so I thought that was pretty cool.
I like that.
Yeah, very interesting story. Yeah. Very different kind of say what, but it's on point and it's pretty funny.
That's more of things that make you go,
Very, very true.
Yeah.
But that was our say what. That's so true. Yes, of the week. That's so funny.
Thank you, Brittany. That was I really like that one. That was that's definitely a different way of thinking, and I think a lot of people should think about that now because, I mean, besides the arms and feet and all that, and the butt, I mean, you probably can't take it off, but like, there's some fake ones out there.
No, there are some. There are some. It's very interesting. Never mind. I'm going down a whole path. It's just interesting to see when people do have on things that basically looks like they have a booty when they don't, and it's something that they have actually like physically put on themselves.
Yeah.
Very interesting. That's all I'll say. It's just very interesting.
It is interesting. So make sure you are being loved for you.
Yes,
and
not for you. By you.
Your body.
And by other people. Hold up. Yeah, by other people. Sorry, I had to think about what I said. I was like, hold up. What I say? That you are loved for you by yourself and loved for you by other people. Let me I had to break it down. I was like, hold up. I feel like there's a missed message here. I said that wrong.
And being you are not the things you wear, the things you have. You are as a person.
Yeah.
But
that's the best.
Yes, it is. It is. So today, I have our introspection conception.
Yes.
I hope you guys are ready for this one. This one's interesting.
It's different.
This one has like built up to this moment.
It has.
Yeah, so those of you, those bona fide baddies and daddies that have been on this journey with us this entire time, now we need to reflect and look back at some of the changes that we've made in our journey to authenticity.
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets on this journey? Can you honestly look back and say, I should not have made that change, or I should have stayed the same? Even though it was an authentic move for yourself, it was something that was needed to bring you peace. Can you really feel regret on some things? And I had to really sit back and ponder because I myself have been on this journey.
Yeah.
And I have had a lot of changes in my life since I have been on this journey since we began. And I not only committed to doing this podcast with you, Brittany, but we both have like committed to really making changes in our lives,
to
like
live an
really
authentic life. Yeah,
doing what we're practicing what we preach.
Yeah.
And I won't say it's been perfect for me. It hasn't been a perfect journey, and no, I haven't followed it completely every time, but I have started making changes in my life, and there are some major things happening. And yeah, I don't think I have regrets. I will say for myself personally,
yeah,
it is
good.
not regrets. It is I'm learning.
Okay.
I am finding out. I am learning. There aren't regrets. They're lessons for me.
Okay.
So
lessons in which you've learned, I guess, valuable things. Okay.
So, I'm becoming closer with myself, and I can't be regretful for becoming me or living my truth.
Ooh, say that again. I got chills a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, I can't regret for becoming me, for living my truth. So,
isn't that something? That is so deep. I don't even know if you realize how deep that is. I cannot feel regret for being me, for being your true self. So interesting. I know, for me, because I know I was thinking about it, especially like coming from a background, growing up, which is, this is what even led me down this path in the first place. Growing up, parents always worried about what other people had to say, or thought about us, or you got to present yourself in a certain way, or no, you can't do that. Or even if it's like just being myself at the house, like, no, don't do that, because it's still something that they weren't used to as I was growing up, starting to express myself. Well, of course, like teenage years.
Yeah.
And so that started me down a path of a lot of my adult life, worrying about what other people had to say, like really worrying about what other people had to say. And so then when I finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? I've realized I don't care as much as I think I do, or that I used to.
Yeah.
And wow, this is a different perspective. I feel peace. Like, I feel peace not worrying about, like, not feeling like I have to get on social media to tell people what I'm doing, or like even just sharing positive or negative, especially like the really, really positive news. I realized I only wanted like my little circle to know what was going on. I didn't care about wanting to share that news with other people. And so that's what brought me down this path in the first place. So for that, I am grateful to my parents and for the way that I grew up, because this is an important lesson and path that I'm glad I turned down, to wanting to be more authentic. And so for me, any regrets that I have, because last season I had talked about quitting my job. I quit my job after 6 years. And
that was rough. that was a big decision.
It was
I won't say it was rough.
Decision,
it was a big decision.
But it was like something I just kept pondering like over and over again. And I was finally like, I can't do this anymore. This is robbing me of my life. The fact that I really don't want to do this. It was the work. It was, honestly, for me, it's just working for other people in general. I'm just going to say that. But so I quit that job. I felt great. But as I expected, then, finances would then become an issue, even though I had saved up money. But my whole thing was, I want to make money the way I want to make money, no matter what anybody else has to say. And so I have been doing that. So I definitely don't regret quitting my job at all. I would do it over and over again, to be honest. I would probably just save a little bit more money, well, a good amount of money, more than I did. But I am making money in the ways that I want to. I do want to make more money. And so probably just I don't regret quitting the job. I'll probably just be more prepared. But like you said, like all these are lessons. All these are beneficial lessons that I appreciate.
I don't think you should like really look back and regret things, because regret means you're sad that you made that decision.
Right.
But in hindsight, you now know not to do those things. So you're learning along the way. And even though you said you would have, your only regret is you should have saved more money. Well, you wouldn't have even like known how that feels to be in that place.
No, for real, that's very valuable.
It is very valuable because it actually gives you more motivation to, like, from where you are to go further. So
yes, I definitely appreciate that. And that is the truth. So no, I don't have any negativity towards that decision. And then what was I thinking about just now? I was about to say something. I remember like it was like a few months after I had quit my job and when I had moved to Florida. Probably shouldn't have done both of those around the same time. But again, learning experience. When I was here in Florida, which is where I wanted to come, and it was like the weather was great. I wasn't working at a job then, so I wasn't with the rat race experiencing all this horrible traffic that they have here. And I just like the freedom that I had to just do what I wanted to do. Like I was like, I am like really happy right now. I still had money in my savings account then, and the only thing I thought about was, the only thing that's missing is just like the financial security piece. That's it. Everything else, I was good. Everything else, like I was happy. This is the kind of life that I want. This is how I wanted to feel living the life that I wanted. Is I remember having that feeling. Yeah. So no.
So is regret a real thing? Like to be regretful? If you're truly like trying to be authentic, can you be regretful?
Oh no, and that's a good question. I feel like for me and you, I feel like the answer would be no, because we know kind of what we're signing up for. In a way, we don't know the exact, endpoint of where we're going, but we knew that there were going to be sacrifices on this journey. And so I feel like we would say no, but for somebody else, so say they're wanting to be on this journey, and let's say they expose, more about themselves, like different sides of themselves. And they're just like, nah, I don't like how, people responded to me. I'm not strong enough, or I don't want to deal with this, or they made a major decision that they were happy about in the moment. But then like as time went on, they're like, nah, this ain't it. Like for someone who's on the journey, but just testing the waters, then I feel like they could feel regret because maybe they're not in it all the way. Like they just want to see if it might be something that they want to try. But someone who is in it and wants to go down this path, they understand that there's going to be sacrifices. They understand that there's going to be highs and lows to this process. Then I feel like the topic of regrets would be different for them. They would probably say no too.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like, I think everything, and this is just my personal opinion. I mean, I know a lot of people think this way as well, but I do think everything happens for a reason.
Oh yeah.
I believe every choice that you make it for a reason, or it is made for a reason, and it's putting you in the direction that you're supposed to be going in. And when you kind of look at the bigger picture of things, and I was just having a discussion with somebody about this, like you think back and you say, this is where I started, this is where I wanted to go. And they always say, you want to make God laugh, you tell them your plans. So, you don't see the bigger picture in life, and but he does.
Right.
You know, and I'm not trying to get all spiritual or anything, but like the bigger picture, the things that happen in your life along the way that don't make sense, or the decisions that you make that you think you regret, those are still things that are aiding towards the bigger picture of your entire life. So, and
that's a good point.
Yeah,
I forget stuff like that. I forget stuff like that when I'm in the moment of experiencing those things.
Like, for instance, say, you know, I for instance, I wanted to be a doctor, and I ended up not, or I ended up graduating late, but along the way, there's things that happen that if I weren't in the place that I were in, if I were still in school, like for a doctor, instead of me becoming a nurse, I wouldn't have been able to do the things that I did.
Right.
Like caring for some of my family that I had lived with me. If I were in school, I would not have been able to.
Right.
And that would have affected their life. It affects the bigger picture. I know this is like going off on a tangent of something completely different, but I'm just saying, I mean, in hindsight, like being regretful of decisions, you know, is, I think it's just a lesson. That's just my personal opinion.
Is. And you know how people talk about, you know, oh, I have the fear of failure, which I know you talked about before. I have the fear of like putting myself out there. My fear was always failure. Oh goodness, fear of regret. But regret. But it's interesting though. It's one specific area of this topic. The fear of regret from not trying things. It's not from making a decision and wishing that I hadn't. That's not what it is. Gotcha. And so if you can't tell, I'm a little bit of a risk taker. And I accept that. Sometimes I do think through my decisions. Sometimes I do not thoroughly. And I'm okay with that. I understand that about myself. But yes, for me, it was the fear of regret from not doing things that I wanted to do, not because I did try something and it didn't work out. Yeah.
Well, that is definitely a more positive way to not have regret, because I'm probably the opposite. I'm probably like regretful. If I am regretful of things that I didn't do. And I think, you know what? Perfect example. We've been on this journey, right?
Right.
And we're talking about regrets of the choices that we've made during this journey. I used to not make moves. You said you make moves and regret if you didn't. I regret that I didn't and wish I did. But now that I am, I'm saying I can't be regretful anymore because my regret used to be not doing, and now that I'm doing, I can't be regretful.
So it's like this is a whole other side that you're experiencing.
Right.
So it's also kind of like a pep talk to yourself, I guess, saying, girl, you can't regret these things. This is the life that you want. These are the steps you have to take to get there.
Right.
And you can't actually regret them. You just have to, these are lessons. Interesting. Okay. I like that. That's really cool. But yeah, I just bringing it back to everybody else. Our bona fide baddies and daddies, is you've been with us from last season or you're new with us this season. Just thinking about, especially if we've talked about so much.
We really have.
So much.
So much.
And I don't know if you can tell, me and Erica, we are really, even though I was talking about like last week or the week before, how sometimes I feel like I'm giving advice and wondering if I'm listening to it. Best believe, yeah, some weeks it's just like any other person. I'm here, sometimes I'm on it, and sometimes I'm not, and life is like taking over what I say I want for myself and what I'm trying to aim to get to. But it's so important just to think about on this journey. When you think about what you want and the steps that you have taken or you plan to take, just thinking about, for one, just reflecting the actions you've taken to get closer to your authentic life. How do you feel about them? Like, are you proud of yourself? Do you wish you, and we're not saying you shouldn't feel regrets, we're just talking about regrets in general. Do you feel regretful for the decisions you've made to get closer to the authentic life that you want? Like, have you tested the waters? Because we said this wasn't a journey for everybody. We would love for everybody to be on this journey, but it's not a journey for everybody. Have you decided already that this is just not going to work for you? That this authentic life, you're like, nah, I'm good where I was. It's too difficult for me. Just thinking about that. I do have an exercise though that I thought about.
What you got?
I always think about these random exercises. And so what I had is like
homework.
Right, to our homework. And so it's a twofold exercise. And so for 1 week, or if you can't do it for 1 week because you just can't do it with how your life is set up, or at least for a few days, consciously make the decision to put everybody else in your life as a priority over yourself. Just see, and this might be your life already, but just like, if you are, just like reflect on it. Just like actively be there in the moment as you're thinking about how each decision that you're making for 2-3 days, for a week, you're prioritizing other people over yourself. Like, think about that. But then on the other end of that, for a few days or a week, this will be very interesting. Make yourself the priority over everybody else in your life.
That's a shift. That's definitely a shift.
Yes, truly, like, try it though.
Yeah.
Try it. And again, if it can only, maybe it's for a day. You do what everybody else wants to do for a day, and then you, like, the whole day, you're going to come off selfish as I don't know what, but it's okay. This is just an exercise. But just make yourself the priority over everybody else in your life, and I just ask you, just reflect on both sides, and then to adjust how you see fit. That's all I'll say.
Okay, I like that exercise.
Yeah, again, do it whatever works for you. A week might be too long. Just so you can actually experience what that feels like, how people respond around you, with both outcomes. And I just think it'd be a interesting exercise for homework.
I like that.
Yeah, reflect and then adjust accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give us a few quotes of the day.
Okay. How many you have? 1 or 2?
Oh,
we said a couple.
I just have 2, yeah.
Okay.
I have a hard time. So the first one is never regret anything that made you smile.
No.
And that's by Mark Twain. I thought that was cute.
See me do my little dance.
Okay. And then the next one this one is actually by Queen Latifah. She said, I made decisions that I regret, and I took them as learning experiences. I'm human, not perfect like anybody else.
No.
So, learning experiences, y'all. These are no regrets.
Yes.
We are learning life. We all, you know what? The crazy thing, we talk about the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody's got this figured out. We all stumbling through life, just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And like every decade.
Yeah, every decade. And it's so crazy you're talking about, we're all figuring this out. A topic we had it wasn't last week, the week before, was about society and labels. Mm-hmm. And with us all figuring this out, you know who makes it easy for us to figure it out?
Who makes
Society makes it easy for us to figure it out based off, its own standards.
Yep.
And so with that, I say be very careful on this journey to figuring out what an authentic life looks like for you, where your place is in the world. Just be careful. Society is right there, all in your ear, telling you how you should look, what you should do. And this is not from within. So listen to who you are deep down inside before you listen to society first, and family and friends first. Listen to yourself first. Reflect on that, because that influence is very strong out there. Very strong.
I'm gonna be I thought
what?
I'm gonna be so silly. Except don't believe what society says, believe what you feel in yourself. And my first thought was, unless you're like hearing voices and they're telling you to do something you really should not be doing.
Oh god. Girl. Okay. Yeah, unless there are extra voices in your head, yes, listen to yourself first. But if there are others, please go see a professional. Seriously. I'm laughing, but please. But Erica, really, you are so funny.
I'm sorry. I'm just, you just don't know what goes inside my head. You just have no idea.
That is so funny.
I try to keep it tame, but it was just one of those moments.
He's like, no, I gotta let this sort out.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Being yourself, girl.
That's a disclaimer, Believe in yourself, except if there's other voices in there. Don't believe them.
And not. Moving on.
Okay.
Guys, join us next week as we surprise you with another mystery, introspection, conception.
Yes.
We may even have a guest interview next time.
Yes, I'm excited.
But this is one of our goals that we had, was to finally do interviews. They're kind of like a chat, because we don't want it to be like a full interview. You know how we kind of just talking, through our thoughts and, with each other, having a conversation. We kind of want the same thing to happen, but just bringing in other people's perspectives on their journey of authenticity. And so look forward to our upcoming introspection conception. Do, as always, let us know if you have any topics or any ideas for topics. And you can reach us on our social media accounts. We have Instagram, which is learning_BE_bonafide. For Facebook, we have b.e.bonafide podcast. And we also have YouTube, and that's at L2BE bonafide. We hope Apple will be coming soon to add that to our list, but not quite yet. But just overall, I just want to thank you all for just continuing to listen to us. We are so grateful. We've been doing this for a year this month.
Oh my God.
It is March.
That's crazy.
That is exciting. So congratulations, Sarah.
Whoop, whoop. We need to have a birthday episode.
I know.
Okay.
But thank you all for joining us this week. We hope you have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Wherever you are, we will catch you next week. Bye.